Shrimatre Namaha. Bhagavad Gita. It is an encyclopedia. Whatever we want, we can extract from Bhagavad Gita. In day-to-day life, what and all hurdles we are facing, the solutions can be taken from Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is not only a religious book. People might have misunderstood, maybe misunderstood, but it is a fact. We have to go through Bhagavad Gita in various ways. We should not see it is a work or a book related to Hindus. Lord Krishna not only preached to Arjuna, we should know strongly that point. He taught on behalf of the humankind through Arjuna, passed the message to the humankind. What and all we want to get the subject, that and all can be extracted from Bhagavad Gita. We can see especially in Nishkaama Karma in Bhagavad Gita. The word seemed to be like a Sanskrit word. We can't understand that theme. What is Nishkama Karma? It's the opposite word of Sakama Karma. The difference is there. Suppose Lord Krishna says, you do your work, don't expect the fruit, means result. That is called Nishkama Karma. The people nowadays, we used to see in some temples, they used to donate either fan or tube light, depicting their entire family names on that. It is not Nishkama Karma. Nishkama Karma means only giving, not recollecting the donation. We should not propagate what we are doing, our work, our duties. That is called purely Nishkama Karma. He who does his work sincerely without expecting in return, that is called Nishkama Karma. Such Nishkama Karma will yield great results, great fruits in future. Because we should not work for others' sake, others' impression. We have to do work for our sake, our self-satisfaction. Unless you have self-satisfaction, your work may not get results forever. Therefore, Lord Krishna emphasized much about Nishkama Karma. If we do Nishkama Karma, definitely it gives lots of benefits, not only for us, even for the society. Therefore, we have to follow the traditional way on our duties. Moral value should be developed by us. When we are doing our duties morally, ethically, lawfully, without expecting any return in the form of Nishkama Karma, result cannot be imagined in what way we get success. So, basing on this subject, today I took Nishkama Karma, a topic, to discuss in detail. Let us see. Prayer. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tatulyam Ramanama Varanane. The path leads that from employee engagement to enhanced organizational results need a delicate balancing. This is all about balance of two E's, letter E's, namely being first E, ethical, another E, effective. The numerous stories we heard ranging from global credit crunch to golden key chaos called for the need of ethicality, morality. It is not achieving short-term gains, either by hook or by crook, but something much deeper, grounded on solid principles. Today's column covers a wide array of thoughts revolving around being ethical. Ethics in focus. How? Ethics is different to define in a precise way. In a general sense, ethics is a code of moral principles and values that governs the behaviors of a person or a group with respect to what is right or what is wrong. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, says the golden rule of ethics. Focusing more on business ethics, it is a capacity to reflect on values in the corporate decision-making process to determine how these values and decisions affect various stakeholders groups and to establish how managers can use these observations in a day-to-day company development or company management. A code of ethics is a formal statement of acts as a guide for making decisions and acting within an organization. Richard Daft, a well-known management author, speaks of a four-way test which is globally advocated by Rotary International. What are the four tests now? Number 1, is the decision truthful? Number 2, is it fair to all concerned? 3, will it be beneficial to all concerned? 4, will it build goodwill and better friendships? See how great. The answer should be yes to all above 4 questions in order the decision to be ethical. The reality of being ethical is that response should always be digital. Either you are ethical or unethical. There is no halfway. The challenge in this respect in the engaged employees while ensuring them that they are guided to be ethical and effective. In search for an enduring response to the need to be ethical and effective, the twin terms Nishkama Karma and Sakama Karma makes much sense. These terms were introduced to the management circles by Chakrabarti, a management researcher from the Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, IIMB. Let us see what is Nishkama Karma. Nishkama Karma is a term derived from the revered Hindu text. What is that? Everybody knows, Bhagavad Gita. It literally means detached involvement, performing work accepted on the basis of agreed remuneration with little calculation or comparison with others, or comparison or concern for additional personal recognition, gain or reward during or completion of our work. Therefore, a verse in Bhagavad Gita enunciates the principle of Nishkama Karma. What famous sloka? Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhuh ma te sangostva karmani. You have a right to action, but only to action, never to its fruits. Let not the fruits of your works be your motive, or be your motive, neither let there be in your any attachment in inactivity. Nishkama Karma can also be described as selfless or degreeless action, which is performed without any explanation of fruits or results. This is a central tenet of Karma Yoga, path to liberation, according to Hindu texts. Now, it has now found place not just in business management studies, but also in promoting better business ethics as well. It is modern advocates press upon achieving success, following the principles of yoga and stepping beyond personal goals and agendas, while pursuing any action over great good, which has become well known since it is a central message of Bhagavad Gita. In Indian philosophy, action or karma has been divided into three categories according to their intrinsic qualities or gunas. Here, Nishkama Karma belongs to the first category called Sattvic, or actions which add to calmness. The Sakama Karma, self-centered action, comes to the second Rajasika, aggression. And Akarma, inaction, comes under the third Tamasika, which correlates to darkness or inertia. We can come across a text titled Summer Showers in Vrindavan, which further upholds the virtues of Nishkama Karma. Man can be described as a conglomeration of thoughts and ideas. Every little thought becomes an integral part of his life. The quality of feelings one has determines his future. Therefore, he must install sacred ideas in his heart. The fostering of pure thoughts will promote the spirit of selfless service in our hearts. Nishkama Karma uproots the bestiality in man and confers divinity on him. Selfless service is a more exalted means of spiritual progress than such other ways as meditation, bhajan and yoga. This is so because when we undertake meditation, japa or yoga, we do so for our own benefit and not for the good of the society or others. These are aimed at subjugating one's individual desires and securing happiness for one's self. What we should aspire for the attainment of good of others without any desire for personal gain. Sakama Karma as opposite to Nishkama Karma. The opposite of Nishkama Karma is termed as Sakama Karma, meaning attached to involvement. It means performing work accepted on the basis of agreed remuneration with anxious comparative calculation, vice versa others for additional personal recognition, gain a reward during or an completion of the work. Commenting on the Indian scenario, he states the following. The 1980s have been often described as the greedy decade. A similar phenomenon began in India in 1990s, initiated by the stock exchange banking mega scam. Several highly ranked chairmen and CEOs of companies, Chief Justice, Vice Chancellor, Chairman of State Public Service Commissions, senior bureaucrats and other important public figures came under a cloud, having been involved in unethical practices. It by no way means one has to leave the worldly affairs in becoming an ascetic. As Sri Aurobindo Ghosh aptly pointed out, action done with Nishkama Karma is not only the highest, but the wisest, the most potent and efficient, even for the affairs of the world. A desirable scenario would be to see the engaged employees becoming detached, yet continuing to be involved. A simple example could be a bank manager devoting himself or herself for the achievement of the given objectives in a wholehearted manner without thinking of what one would get in return. The opposite of this will be another manager working hard on a personal agenda, aspiring to get the next promotion yearly. Let us compare Nishkama Karma and Sakama Karma. The differences of Nishkama Karma and Sakama Karma can be shown as in the table, as in the detailed way. As it clearly depicts, what we see is a comparison between greed versus greed. Detachedness reduces greed and increases your tendency to be green. It means having a greater consciousness towards the nature. It conserves your psychological energy by reducing backbiting, undercutting, tail carrying, and other negative behaviors prevalent in a typical workplace. As perfection is the aim, managers can gear them up or gear themselves for continuous improvement rather than narrowly focusing on winning always in any manner. There is a French saying that you should know when to leave a party. We can see many managers struggle to give up their authority and associated perks. Seeing your successor taking your job to a greater highest is somewhat difficult to some of us. Training the ones with the potential, developing one's successor, or sharing one's experiential knowledge with youngsters are the actions some are reluctant to do. They all boil down to the attachment. The acid test here is the ability to detach yet getting involved. The much published statement by former US President John F. Kennedy goes as, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do to the country. Such an approach is very much relevant to a wide variety of institutions in order to build employees who are ethical and effective. Let us see the way forward. What we presented is an Indian concept and largely researched in Indian context. Yet the relevance and applicability to Sri Lankan managers are very high. clinging on to power without giving up has become a phenomenon in political, business, and rather spheres of life. What is far more enhancing or enriching is to do what you can do, whenever you can do, whoever is in need, with least expectation in return. We are sure that could be a new mantra for many a manager. The opposite of Sakama Karma or actions done with desires, Nishkama Karma, has been variously explained as duty for duty's sake and as detached involvement, which is neither negative attitude nor indifference, and has totally found many advocates in the modern business or area, where the emphasis has shifted to ethical business practices adhering to intrinsic human values and reducing stress at the workplace. Another aspect that differentiates it from Sakama or selfish action is that while the former is guided by inspiration, the latter is all about motivation, and that makes a central difference in its results. For example, Sakama Karma might lead to excessive work pressure and workaholism as it aims at success and hence creates more chances of physical and psychological burnouts. Moreover, Nishkama Karma means a more balanced approach to work, and as work has been turned into a pursuit of personal excellence, which results in greater personal satisfaction coming from external rewards. One important fallout of the entire shift is that where one is essentially an ethical practice inside out, leading to the adage, work is worship, show itself literally at the workplace, leading to greater work commitment. The other services, it is so much result oriented, can lead to unethical business and professional ethics, as seen so often at modern workplaces. Since the central tenet of practicing Nishkama Karma is mindfulness in the present moment, over time this protective leads to not only equanimity of mind, as it allows the practitioners to stay detached from the results and hence from ups and downs of business that are inevitable in any business arena, while maintaining a constant work commitment, since work has now been turned into a personal act of worship. Further, in the long run, it leads to cleansing of the heart, but also spiritual growth and holistic development. Nishkama Karma, selfless or desireless action, is an action performed without any expectation of fruits or results, and the central tenet of Karma Yoga, path to liberation. Its modern advocates press upon achieving success, following the principles of yoga and stepping beyond personal goals and agendas while pursuing any action over greater God, which has become well known since it is the central message of Bhagavad Gita. In Indian philosophy, action or karma has been divided into three categories, already said, according to their intrinsic qualities or gunas. Here Nishkama Karma belongs to the first category, sattva, actions which add to calmness, Sakarma karma in the second Rajasika, Vikarma or Akarma, worst action, comes under the third Tamasika, which correlated to darkness. Nishkama Karma, especially in Bhagavad Gita. Nishkama Karma has an important role in Bhagavad Gita, the central text of Mahabharata, where Krishna advocates Nishkama Karma Yoga as ideal path to realize the truth. Allocated work done without expectations, motives, or thinking about its outcomes tend to purify one's mind and gradually makes an individual fit to see the value of reason and the benefits of renouncing the work itself. These concepts are vividly described in the following verses. Yogastaha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga muchyate. Fixed in yoga. Do your work, O Arjuna, abandoning attachment with an even mind in success and failure. For evenness of mind is called yoga. With the body, with the mind, with the intellectual, even merely with the senses, the yogis perform their action towards self-purification, having abandoned attachment. He who is disciplined in yoga, having abandoned the fruit of action, attains steady peace. Naturopathy, a system of life wherein man lives in harmony with the constructive principles of nature on the physical, mental, moral and spiritual plans of living, proposes Nishkama Karma as a perfect way to reduce stress and to maintain the well-being at the person. Nishkama Karma is non-attachment to the result of personal actions in life and focusing on doing such actions with selfless and loving motives. In simple words, a selfless or desireless action. The efforts of Nishkama Karma has been plotted by many philosophers. They have interpreted it is as a spiritual ideal for centuries. Sakama Karma and Nishkama Karma are two aspects of Karma Yoga. The word karma comes from the root of kama, which means desires. It also its roots in the word kriya, which means to do. In the act of Nishkama Karma, one has no selfish motivation in committing an act and does it just for the well-being of all others. It follows on giving with love and devotion and happiness. Selfless service bears fruit similar to Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga. When one is not attached to the consequences of one's actions, he or she will gradually and ultimately be freed from the bondage of karma, and this has a lot of implications on the mental health of a person. Being not attached to desires and expectations, one is free from tensions, anxieties and worries and would be able to live in the present. The concept of Nishkama Karma practiced in the Karma Yoga in Bhagavad Gita is a path to liberation. In Gita, Lord Krishna advises Arjuna to follow this principle to be happy and satisfied in your life. Such a state of mind would eventually help one to be free from tensions and anxieties. The same concept has also been explained in Chandogya Upanishad, which is assumed to have been compiled between the 8th and 6th century BC, where this state of mind is explained in the single phrase of Tattvamasi or Tvamasi. When Svetaketu asked his father Uddalaka about the Parabrahma, Uddalaka answered him prominently. This great truth, Tattvamasi. Even Svetaketu did not understand what his father meant, as he could not comprehend the fact that he himself contained the God whom he was searching his whole life. Uddalaka later explained that each person was a part of that great power whom we call as God, and the search for his great entitledly starts and enables or ends in each person. These words uttered by that great yogi eventually became a key principle of seeking truth and the meaning of the existence. Thus, in order to find the true knowledge and be aware of one's own nature, thus being able to fund the truth and all the meanings of existence. All these revelations stress on the importance of gaining the real self by dropping the idea of self, thereby achieving or elevating all kinds of diversions or divisions and making all the parties meet together. Now, ideal of Nishkama Karma. Swami Vivekananda suggested we say that we cannot do without at the same time during or doing Sri Rama some evil, or do evil without enduring some good. Knowing this, how can we work? There have therefore been sects in the world who have been in an astoundingly preposterous way preached slow suicide of the world, because if a man lives, he has to kill poor little animals and plants or do injury to something or someone. So accordingly, it's a city, only way out of the world is to guide. The Jains have preached this doctrine as their highest ideal. These teachings seems to be very logical, but the true solution is found in Gita. It is the only non-attachment to be allotted to nothing which doing our work life. Know that you are separated entirely. The world, though you are in the world, and that whatever you may be doing in it, you are not doing that for your own sake. Therefore, Karma Yoga teaches, do not give up the world. Live in the world. Imbibe its influences as much as you can. But if it be for your own enjoyment's sake, work not at all. Shri Kantai Kalyana Nide Nidram Shri Venkatnivasaya Srinivasaya Mangala Mangala Sasambay Madhachar Brogmay Sarvaisha Purvairacharye Satkruta Yastu Mangalam.